Welcome to coding.com. Today we'll learn how to implement dark mode in React. So let's create a new project. Open your terminal and run npx create react app. Dark mode. Wait for this installation to complete. Depending upon your internet speed, it might take 5 to 10 minutes. So let's come back once the installation completes. Once the installation complete, you should see a message like this. So let's go to that particular directory and open it in your favorite code editor. Once you open it in your code editor, you should see these many files which will come in default with the create react app. Let's delete the files which we will not be using. In the service network as well as setup test. Let's go to app.js and remove the references from them. Let's clean up the app.js. Let's go to index.js and remove the references of the service worker here. Now that we have deleted those files, let us start our application by running npm start. As the React app starts, a browser tab will automatically open and you should be able to see localhost 3000 with the content of app. So let's go back to our editor and add some styling changes to here. First of all, let us clear out some CSS from here and add a margin of 1 rem and auto. Let's add a max width of say 800 pixels so that the contents come in the center. Set a background color of white and a font color of black. These will be the default colors, but when we implement the dark theme, we'll change the background color to black and the font color to white and see how it works. Now navigate to app.js and add some content to it. Let's add a navigation header. Let's give a class name of say navigation. Inside that, let's create two divs, one for the logo and another button to switch mode. Inside a class name of toggle button. Not add any logos, just we'll keep a text of dark mode here. And now we have these classes, let us give some styling to them. Now let's see what we have in the screen. We have a text as well as a button. We want this to be displayed horizontally. So let's add some CSS styles here. Let us make this as flex and give a flex direction of row so that it comes next to each other. And since we want this switch mode appear here, let's give justify content as space between. Let's make this text a bit more darker. So font weight of bold and a font size of say 1.2 rem. Okay, now it's slightly bigger. Now let's add some style to this button as well. So remember, we have given a class of toggle button to this button. Let's add a font color of black and a background color of white and a cursor pointer so that when we hover over it, we will get a hand symbol. Since when we click on switch mode, we will be changing the background as well as the font color of the page. Let's move this color as well as the background color to variables. So let's declare a couple of variables, say button text with the color of black, button BG with the color of white. Now we have these variables, let's use them in the button class. Button text and background as button BG. Now let's add some content to this page. Let's add a heading saying this is a heading, and let's add a couple of paragraphs of text. To enter random text, let us make use of lorem ipsum, say 5, so that it enters 5 paragraphs of text, and let's open it. And yeah, let's add one more paragraph here, lorem, so maybe 6. Now we have sufficient content where we can apply our dark mode. Let's create a custom hook, say useDarkMode, which we will be making use of to store whether the current state is dark or not. Let's write a export default function. This will not take any parameters. Inside this function, let us use a local state useState hook, which will store whether it is dark mode or not. You can give either false or true depending upon your preference. I will give it as false so that on the first load it will not be dark mode. You will have to import the useState hook from React. To implement dark mode, what we will be doing here is we will be adding a class of dark to the body, so that whenever that class is present, we will change the color of the text as well as the background. So let's write a useEffect hook where whenever this value of isDark changes, we will either add or remove the class of dark to the body. Whenever isDark is true, let's remove the class from the body. To access the list of class from the body, we'll have to write window.document.body.class list and call remove function with the name of the class dark. In the else condition, that is whenever we want to switch to dark mode, we'll add that class to the body. So finally we'll return the value of isDark and setIsDark so that we can use it in our app.js where we have our toggle button. Let's import the useDarkMode hook here and create the variables isDark and setIsDark, which will be exported from useDarkMode. Now whenever toggle button is clicked, let us call setIsDark. So let's call setIsDark with the toggled value of isDark. So whenever it is in dark mode, it will switch to light mode and vice versa. If you see here, we will see an error. useEffect is not defined in useDarkMode. That is because we forgot to import useEffect. So let's do that. Now that error should go. So now if you load the page, you will see the dark class added. But we have specified the default not to be dark, it should be light mode. So let's see what is happening. If you open the useDarkMode hook, you will see that if we are removing the class of dark whenever it is dark, so it should be other way around. We should be adding the class of dark and removing whenever it is not dark. Now if you see, by default it will not have any class of dark, so if you click on switch mode, it will get a class of dark, and if you click on it again, the class will be removed. You can play around and see if it works fine or not. So let's make use of that body class called dark, and let's give a background color of black and a font color of white, and let's change the button background as well as the font color. Let's change the font color to white and the background color to black. Now you open the app, you will see it loaded in dark mode. If you click on switch mode, it will switch to light mode. Let's switch it a couple of times and see if it works fine. Let's see what is actually happening here. If you inspect and see the body class, you will see whenever body.dark is present, these styles will be active. Whenever I switch to light mode, the default styles will be active. Now if you notice, if you click to switch mode and reload the page, it will load by default in light mode. This is not the experience you want your users to have. You want the user to load in their preferred mode. Say if they save it in dark mode, they want it to be loaded in dark mode when they load the page next time. To implement that, we will have to make use of either users browser cookies or local storage, so that whenever the user visits next time, it will be loaded in the mode they prefer to. So let's head to our custom hook and try to save the user preference in the local storage. Whenever you're accessing local storage or browser cookies, you should always enclose the code in try-catch block. There are chances that the user has disabled the local storage or cookie preferences, then your code might break. Let's write a catch block. If you are not able to access the local storage, let's throw some error to the console. Error, unable to access local storage. And if you are able to access, let us store our preference in the local storage. For that, we can access the local storage by using window.local storage.set item of first. It will accept two parameters. One is key and one is the value. Let us give the key as useDarkMode and value as useDark. Now let's run it and see if that works fine. Let's go to application tab and see. By clicking on switch mode, we will see that useDarkMode is set to true. When we click on switch mode, it will toggle back to false. Still, if you reload the page, it will load in light mode itself because we are not making use of this useDarkMode variable. So let's make use of it whenever we are initializing the useDarkMode state. You might be aware that it is not just the values we can pass to useStateHook, we can pass callbacks as well. So let's pass a callback, and inside this callback, let's get the value of the local storage preference to window.localStorage.get item of whatever key we have used here. By default, the item value will be in string, so we'll have to convert it to the boolean value because useDark is a boolean value here. We can do that easily by using json.parse of item. So we are using this JSON parse so that the string gets converted to the boolean value. Say in the future you want to store the JSON string inside the local storage. In that case also, this json.parse will help you in converting the JSON string to a JSON object. Since we are accessing local storage, let us wrap it in the try-catch block as we have done before. So whenever an error occurs, let us return false. And here there are chances that your code can break because we are not checking if whether the item exists or not. So let us add a check. If item exists, then only we will do this JSON parse. If not, we will return an undefined. This function will return undefined whenever the user loads your page for the very first time. We will be using this in conjunction with the user browser theme settings, which we will be implementing in the future. Now if we reload the app in dark mode, it will remain in dark mode, and if we switch to light mode and reload it, it will be in the light mode. There is a CSS media feature called prefers color scheme, which is used to determine whether the user prefers the dark mode or the light mode. So this feature is supported by almost all the modern browsers. So we'll be using this in this tutorial to determine whether the user preference is dark mode or light mode, and load the page in that mode. So before running a hook, let us determine if the dark mode is enabled or not. So let's declare a variable useDarkMode enabled, and let's first check if the user has already set his preference. So we can determine if the user is not loading this page for the first time by using this undefined value. So let's see if type of dark is not undefined. If useDark is undefined, then it means user has already set his preferences. Then let us give the value of useDark to our useDark enabled variable. If the user is loading your page for the very first time, then it will go to the else condition, and let's see if the user has any browser preference set. We can query the user preference by using the window.matchMedia API and by checking if prefers color scheme is dark. And we will call a matches function which will return true if dark mode is preferred, otherwise false. Before running our application, let us run this in our own browser and see if this works fine. And if you run, see, it will return true because I have set my mode to dark mode. So in our use effect hook, wherever we are making use of useDark, let us replace it with useDarkMode enabled. Since we have already loaded our page previously, we will have our preference stored in the local storage. So let us open a fresh session in the incognito mode and see if it works fine. So you see, I have already set my preferences in dark mode. That's why the page has loaded in dark mode. So if I refresh again, it will load in dark mode. So if I switch to light mode and load it, the preference will be stored in local storage. So the local storage one will take the higher precedence and it will load in the light mode. So if I switch back to dark mode, it will keep loading in the dark mode. In most of the application, you would have seen, instead of giving a switch mode button, they will have a symbol like a moon or a sun icon. So let's add those things to our application as well. First, we need to add a couple of icons to our project. So let's go ahead and look for React Icons library, and if you click on the first link, it will open a React icon library. You can search for, say, moon or say sun. This library has many icons. It's a combination of all the icons that are available for free. So you can search whichever icon you need here and find those icons here. So let's add it to our project. Copy this command and paste it in our terminal. Since our project is already running, let's create a duplicate prompt and run that npm install command. The advantage of using this React icon package is that the icons which are imported in your components will only be added to your package bundle. Since these are SVG icons, the sizes will be in some bytes. So now the installation is completed. Let's import couple of icons from the package. React icons, and if you give a slash, you will see all the vendors icons which are packaged into React icons. So we'll be using bootstrap icons, so we'll give BS, and from BS let us see what are the icons we need. One is moon for the dark mode and another is sun for the light mode. So let's click on that. It will copy the name of the icon and let's paste it here. and let us search for sun. And yeah, we have the sun here. Let's paste here, and instead of this text, let's make use of this icons. So I'll display the sun. Let's give a size of say 24, and let's give a color yellow. And if you load the page now, you'll see sun here, but yeah, when the mode is light, you'll have to switch to moon. So let's give, we have this useDark variable here. So let's see if it's dark. If it's in dark mode, then we'll have to show the sun icon so that user can click on that and switch to the light mode. If you are in light mode, then we will show the moon icon so that user can switch to light mode. Since in light mode we have a white background, let's give the color of black to the mode. So now if we click on the sun icon, we'll see the moon icon, and if you click on moon icon, it will go back to the dark mode. So that's it from this tutorial. Hope you have liked it. If you have found it useful, please give me a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, please do comment it in the comment section, and do subscribe to my channel. You'll find a link to the complete source code in the description section, as well as a link to the demo. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.